Hi everyone, today we're going to be making this card. You're going to need a few supplies. You're going to need a strip of Bella Bleu paper. I've got a square there to do the bottom part of the card. You're going to need some offcuts of craft and white. You're also going to need an offcut of brocade blue, and you're going to need your cardstock base. As well as that, you're also going to be requiring a bone folder, heart punch, scallop square punch, and also the eyelet border punch. Okay, let's get started. We're going to start off with our cardstock base. Move all these pieces out of the way. Okay, and we're just going to fold it over, and we're going to use our bone folder to crease our card. So now we have a cardstock base. Now we've got a square of Bella Bleu Designer Series paper which fits nicely across the bottom, so I'm going to take my snail adhesive and just add some adhesive to that and stick it onto the bottom of that card, just like that. I'm going to take our strip of card, our strip of designer paper, I'm going to cut it slightly longer than the card, and I'm going to use the scallop edge punch. Well, this is the eyelet border punch. It doesn't really matter whether I start in the middle with this one, but just to show you, hopefully you'll be able to see this, that you line the punch up with the scallops on either side of the main part of the punch, and it will run the scallops evenly spaced all the way along the piece of paper. Now if you want to, you can leave your piece of paper like that. I'm going to run mine through my paper crimper. I'm back. I've just run my scalloped edge through the paper crimper. I'm going to measure it along the front of my card and work out how long it needs to be. Like that. I'm going to add some adhesive to the front of my card and layer the scallop edge on. It's okay if it's a little bit too long, that's fine, we can trim that off. Okay, so there's the beginnings of my cardstock base. Now I'm going to open up the card, and just using my craft knife, I'm just going to cut a small slit just down the centre fold line. Okay, and I've got some Whisper white ribbon, my piece of Whisper white ribbon, which I'm going to thread through here. I'm going to push it through the hole and pull it through, and this way you avoid getting any messy cut off edges and gives you a nice finish on your card. I'm just going to give it a knot. And then I can snip my ends off so they're nice and neat. So there we've got the base of our card. Next we're going to do our scallop square. So we're going to need a piece of white and a piece of craft for this. Now I'm going to cut a scallop square out of both the craft and the white. Any scraps will do for that, they're fine. And then to make the white square, I'm going to just trim off the scallops, because that way I know it will layer nicely. Okay, here I have my scallop square and my small square of Whisper white. I'm going to use the Follow My Heart punch from the Whimsical Words Celebration stamp set. And I'm going to use the chocolate chip ink pad from my Earth Elements Stampin' Spots. These are the small ink pads that are 1 inch by 1 inch, and by purchasing a set of these you get the entire colour family, which is really convenient if you want to be able to mix and match your colours. Okay, and I'm going to ink up my stamp. And to make sure that I'm getting this on and I get all the writing on, I'm doing this upside down. I'm giving it a push. And now I've got the whole of the sentiment on the stamp, on the piece of cardstock which I wanted, and I'm going to adhere that to my piece of craft cardstock. Okay. So I've mounted that on there, and we're going to mount this onto the front of our card with some dimensional pads. I'm just going to put one top and bottom to go either side of the ribbon. And then just to finish off the card, I'm going to use a couple of the hearts from the 3-punch heart. And I'm going to use a sponge dauber, get my words out straight, and one of the jumbo ink pads, and I'm going to ink up my sponge dauber, and then I'm just going to take the ink around the edges of my hearts. This is just going to give them a bit of dimension, and it's going to make them look as though they're a little bit more round instead of being flat pieces of cardstock. I'm not going to use the mini heart, I just want those ones. And then I'm going to attach those to the front of my card with the dimensional. This is Crystal Effects. We're going to apply it to the hearts. You can use it as an adhesive or as a varnish or as a glossy accent which stands up from the page. So I'm just going to add it to the heart and spread it out a little bit. If you apply it to the mid-centre of your image first, and then without squeezing it, just sort of work it out to the edges, that way you won't end up with too much on your project and it shouldn't go running off. And just work it out. Make sure you don't shake it because you'll end up with some air bubbles. And if you're working in a warm room, it can go tacky quite quickly, so you might need to work quite quickly with it. And that's our finished card. If you can see that from there. There'll be a picture on my blog, so if you'd like to have a look. That's our finished card. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and I'll see you next time.